Good morning, UUSS. What a fantastic thing to do to start our day with gratitude. Let's rise in body or spirit to sing "Oh, We Give Thanks," number 1010. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Now those gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for those precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to our Sunday service. I'm Roger Jones, happy to serve as one of the ministers here at UUSS. Greetings of this week of Passover to you as the Jewish festival continues, and blessings of Beltane as we approach the 1st of May. Whether you are here in person or participating online, we're glad you're here and glad to be with you. The mission of our congregation says we come together to deepen our lives and be a force for healing in the world. Toward this end, we honor the Nishanan, Southern Maidu, and Miwok peoples for their enduring commitment to this land where UUSS exists. They have never left nor ceased to care for this land. If you're on Zoom today, make sure to click on the link in the chat to view the order of service, and it's on the back table, where you can also find the blue sheet list of upcoming activities. Each week, the blue sheet and our weekly message serve as guides to our various programs. After the service, in the welcome hall and on the patio, you can find many ways to get connected. And in the welcome hall, you can fill out a newcomer's form so you can receive our weekly message email on Fridays. You can also do this online. There are many ways to connect with this community. If you're on Zoom today, stay afterwards to chat in breakout rooms to get to know one another for 22 minutes. Here in person, we have coffee, tea, refreshments, and opportunities for conversation. So please linger after the service and keep your name tag on. In the spirit of hospitality, I invite you to take the opportunity to introduce yourself to just one person you don't know, or to greet someone you have not seen in a while. This is a basic element of being part of a caring community. A few things to highlight. Next Sunday morning before service is the Labyrinth meditation in our meadow at 9:30. If you're a voting member, please mark your calendar for the congregational meeting. It will be right after the service, 3 weeks from today. And it'll be available, participation will be available on Zoom as well as in person. After the service today, you will find on the patio the all ages camp table, so you can learn about our yearly camp and find out if you want to register. In the welcome hall near the door is the community partners table, so you could learn about the NAMI walk that we're participating in May as a UUSS team. And of course, the connections table is in the hall every Sunday with lots of activities described there. And just outside this door is the refugee support team's table, asking for you to sign up for the Afghan dinner, which will be prepared by parents of the 5 Afghan refugee families that we've been supporting the past few years. The cost of the dinner and any additional donations will fund our congregation's support as they await asylum proceedings and look for work. The table is right out there, and dinner is a week from today at 6. You can sign up today, or you can sign up online through this Wednesday, May 1st. I have the menu in case you're curious to know what the options are, and there are options to meet most needs and desires. Now, please take a moment to silence your cell phones and your watches so that you can be present for the service, and so can everybody else. And while you do that, one more announcement. Yes, you're from the Stewardship Committee? Would you please rise? I would like everybody who's serving on the Stewardship Committee to rise. Don't sit down. Stay up, please, because I have an announcement. And if you're at home on the Stewardship Committee, you better be out of your chair. So as of the end of the week, Friday, UUS has received pledges for the next budget year from about 205 households for a total commitment of $492,000. Thank you so much. That's an average pledge of about $200 a month. And I would like to thank those of you on the committee for making this possible. It's been a joy to work with all of you. But guess what? Your work is not over. We still have not received a pledge from 109 households, give or take. We have not received enough pledges to fund our budget for next year. So, everyone, our volunteers will staff the pledge table one more time today after the service, right out there. And in a few days, they will start the time-consuming work of sending emails and letters and making telephone calls to remind those of you who have not turned in a pledge form. So please pledge today in person or as soon as you can at our website, or call the office tomorrow. And then we can thank our committee one last time and they can rest. So thank you.
I'd like to invite Annika up for our chalice lighting, where she is. Today's chalice lighting words will have a response from you in the bolded letters above. For nearly 50 years, most Unitarian Universalist congregations have begun our services and small group meetings with the ritual of lighting a flame within a vessel crafted in the form of a chalice. The responsive reading for today's ritual is much older than this ritual itself. These words are from a prayer published in 1937 for use in both Universalist and Unitarian congregations. Please join in responding. For the holiness of every place where light is found, for the healing of nature and the understanding of all kindred souls, for the insights of toil, for the sanctities of birth and death. We lift up thankful hearts. For this holy place and hour, where we leave behind old cares and pleasures, outgrown faiths and customs, where all things meet and change and are renewed. We lift up thankful hearts. For the revival of zest in living, for the tides of life about us and within, for present happiness and strong desire, and for the song of our ascending way. We lift up thankful hearts. Let the work of our hands declare the purpose of our hearts. And may the deeds of kindness and care show forth the light within.
Thank you. I would like to invite David and Larry to come up. Larry Shaw and David Paul. On one Monday morning a month, volunteers from UUSS go to Loaves and Fishes to prepare lunch for the guests who show up there. You want to be over here, please? Okay. The early morning crew prepares the lunch and a second crew serves it. For many years, Larry Shaw has coordinated our volunteers every month. Dave, would you read the certificate?
I'd be happy to. All right. Good morning. Hey. This is a certificate of appreciation for industrious, generous, and reliable service presented to Larry Shaw for his long-time commitment in organizing and leading UUSS Loaves and Fishes volunteers in food preparation and serving. Granted on this day, April 28, 2024, from the Unitarian Universalist Society of Sacramento.
Dave is the new coordinator for our volunteers, so you can see him to sign up, and he wants to reassure you that he and the teams will work under the supervision of the staff at Loaves and Fishes. Larry, thank you. I am glad that you will be continuing as a volunteer on the crew, and I'm glad that you have recruited such a fine young man to succeed you. Now, Larry, would you enact the historic transfer of responsibility and pass the torch to David?
Okay. Hold it up. Just hold it up and then.
All right.
Hold
No,
it
you
up.
have to get a bended knee. This is being done right. Okay. All right, here we go.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Very good.
All right, thank you both. And now, as our children go over to the religious education program and our youth depart, I think it's junior high youth group today? As they depart for the youth group, Anthony will lead us as we sing them out.
Following in the footsteps of that leadership and that historic transfer, we usher our youth forward as we guide you in singing your song. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with the foot. 1, one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Look up ahead. The path is there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
Thank you. This is a caring community which we recognize in this time of joys and sorrows, gratitude and prayer. First, we share in the joy of Janet Lopes and John McMillan that their daughter Alice Lopes was married on April 20 to Don Lee. Alice and her brother Ian grew up in this congregation, and we send Alice and Don our love and congratulations. Janet says it was a beautiful day and a good time was had by all. We rejoice also in the news of a new grandchild from Dennis Hubbard and Elizabeth Pataki. Fisher Flynn Hubbard was born a few weeks ago to their son Jonathan and his wife Caitlin. And we share the joy of our member Carol Jacobs that she will be a great-grandmother for the first time in August and then again in November. Also today, we extend healing wishes to a number of our members. Jim Glidden is recovering from a heart procedure that he had a few days ago. Tiki Harlow is recovering from a knee and leg injury. Dennis Hubbard was hospitalized last month for heart issues and a procedure. Christy Brazil is patiently continuing rehabilitation from her ankle replacement surgery. We extend our healing wishes. We extend our love and our condolences to a number of members who have lost siblings in recent days and weeks. Member Diane Doddridge lost her only brother, Jim Doddridge. He passed away last Tuesday. Jim was a German citizen who lived in Trier, Germany. He sheltered numerous refugees from Syria and more recently from Ukraine. Diane writes, "Our family misses him and his good works." Our member David Libby and his family recently lost his brother Michael Libby, who lived in Petaluma. Our member Fred Panic recently lost his younger brother Ed, who lived in San Marcos, Texas. Fred's sister Martha Kapla passed away last April. Our member Elizabeth Pataki lost her younger sister Holly Pataki Betton a few weeks ago. We hold you all in care as you hold your siblings in your hearts. Now please join me for a time of centering. Maybe relax your eyes, whether open or closed. And wherever you may be, notice where you are sitting or resting, the contact your body is making with the floor or the furniture which sustains you at this moment. And now we'll take some breaths together. Breathe in deeply and let the in-breath naturally roll over into the out-breath. And at the end of the out-breath, our breathing naturally pauses. Let it rest there until the body begins the next in-breath. So breathing in and letting the in-breath naturally roll over into the out-breath. And at the end of the out-breath, our breathing naturally pauses, and we can let it rest there until the body begins the next breath in. And now, as we continue simply to notice our breathing, let us receive these words of prayer and intention. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, sustain us on this day and in the days to come. Bless all those whom we remember on this day, all those we're holding in our hearts. Grant us patience and serenity when we need it. Help us to keep our hearts open. Help us to bear witness to the need for peace and liberation for so many members of our human family in so many places around this world. Give us the courage not to turn away. May we remember that we are connected. We are connected here in this community. We are held in the web of life which connects all beings, and we are nourished by the source of love. Help us to notice reasons for gratitude every single day. Enliven our awareness of the ordinary miracle of being alive. So may it be. Blessed be, and amen. And now let's pause for a few moments of breathing together, a few moments for our private contemplations. Blessed be.
Let's lift our spirits together as we sing Amazing Grace.
Good morning. I'm Dawn Huebner, one of your worship associates. Worship associates are typically given a choice about whether or not to offer a reflection. When I saw that today's service was about faith, I thought, sure, I'll give it a go. But when it came time to actually write it, I struggled. What does faith mean anyway? Is it the same as belief? Does it have to be about God? There's the broad meaning of the word, like, I have faith that my son will eventually find a job. Or, I have faith that Lisa and I will eventually get gold in every country in GeoGuessr, an online game we are addicted to. If you don't know what GeoGuessr is and you want to know, feel free to ask one of us after the service. But I don't think that Roger's going to be preaching about that kind of faith today, the kind that essentially means I'm confident that this thing or that thing is going to happen. Instead, I think we're going to hear about religious faith, the kind that in most religions centers around God, who God is and what he or she or they want from us. The problem with that kind of faith, and what made this reflection difficult to write, is the slippery slope that goes from faith to fundamentalism. The line that gets crossed when faith stops being about this creed or this origin story or this God that I believe in, this set of values and religious tenets that help me live a meaningful life. When it stops being about that and instead becomes, this is what is true, and if you don't share my faith, you are not only wrong, but also bad, and at its extreme, you need to be eliminated. It's like the term faith, the whole concept of it has gotten co-opted by extreme black and white thinkers intent on maintaining power. That kind of faith is not for me. And I also kept hitching on the part of faith that has to do with believing something without evidence. It reminds me of what Stephen Colbert used to call truthiness. When you decide something is true because it seems true. And oh, by the way, it aligns with your self-serving goals. That's a problem, especially now with the widespread blurring of lines between facts and patently false, or at least evidence-free, narratives. I was going around and around about this, trying to figure out what to write, what to say, until my wonderful spouse, Lisa, asked, well, is there anything you believe in without evidence? Their question cut through the noise in my head because the answer is yes. I do hold evidence-free beliefs, or at least one. I believe that there is a unifying spirit running through us and between us, a spirit we can't touch or see or prove, but that connects us all. I believe we are held within this spirit. We contribute to it, and when we die, we become part of it and continue on unseen within it. Do I know that I'm right? No, I do not. Can I prove that such a spirit exists? Definitely not. But I don't need to. I don't need to convince anyone to think the way that I do. I don't need to be right about this in a way that makes others who might believe something different wrong. I can live within my belief, hold faith in it, take comfort from it. It's helpful to me without being hurtful to anyone else. And that, for me, is enough. Our congregation's mission statement says, "We come together to deepen our lives and be a force for healing in the world." Among the ways that we pursue this mission is the practice of giving half of each Sunday's offering to an organization that is actually working to heal the world. Our community partner for the month of April is NorCal Resist. NorCal Resist focuses on immigration justice and community aid. It provides direct assistance to asylum seekers who are recent arrivals in the United States, including legal help, emergency and ongoing shelter, and accompaniment to important appointments. Its volunteers distribute farm-fresh food, groceries, and essential items to those who need them. Its mutual aid farm, Seeds of Solidarity, feeds the community. Its other programs include a community bond fund, a free brake light and car repair clinic. NorCal Resist builds resilience through mobilizing people in mutual aid efforts, and they need our help especially this month. We have learned that right now they are having tough times financially. They may have to cut their important housing assistance or their only paid staff position. That means our giving at this time is especially important. Thank you for giving as generously as you can. You may do this through our website, by text, or by sending a check to the church office. At this time, our shared offering will be given and received. our gifts, please join in our unison response. May generosity bless our world, and may gratitude nourish our spirits.
Guess what? Today I'm going to talk about faith. I figure it's a good idea to do that every 10 years or so. Actually, every single Sunday that we hold a service, we strive to communicate our Unitarian Universalist faith. We strive to embody it and to call it forth from one another. To be sure, if on some random weekday we were suddenly asked, what is Unitarian Universalist faith? Many of us would open our mouths, but no sound would come out. After a few seconds, eventually, however, there could be a good conversation. One aspect of the UU tradition is that we value conversation. We promote curiosity about one another's perspectives and curiosity about our own assumptions. Yet even hearing the word faith in a UU congregation can generate some discomfort. Because that word is used by some groups that give it a very narrow meaning, some UUs don't feel it applies to us. We encourage holding beliefs lightly. But the word faith seems to mean an unshakable certainty, right? We try to be open to reviewing and rethinking our beliefs, try to let them evolve. Faith, on the other hand, seems to mean a set of specific, unchanging beliefs, like a creedal statement. That is indeed a narrow interpretation of the word. Contrary to that, in his book, Religious Humanism as a Way of Life, the UU minister William R. Murray explains 3 types of faith, which are based on 3 Latin words dating back to the medieval Christian church. They are assensus, fides, and fidelitas. First is assensus, A-S-S-E-N-S-U-S, as in giving your assent to specific statements and accepting certain concepts, like the doctrine of the Trinity or salvation through Jesus Christ. You either accept it on faith or you don't. The next word is fides, F-I-D-E-S. It means faith as trust. The word confidence, for example, has fides as its root. Faith is an orientation toward life which is honest about life's hardships and about life's goodness and potential. It is an openness to life instead of despair. You can have an open, trusting orientation to life no matter your specific beliefs or lack of them. Sharon Salzberg is an American Buddhist teacher. In 2002, she published a whole book entitled Faith. Salzberg says, in my understanding, whether faith is connected to a deity or not, its essence lies in trusting ourselves to discover the deepest truths on which we rely. Faith as trust, in order to be authentic, must have a degree of humility. First, humility involves respecting those who have different perspectives. Second, humility recognizes that some experiences will test our faith, cause us to struggle with it. Authentic faith is not triumphant, but humble. As I said earlier, the first kind of faith is assent to or acceptance of specific beliefs. But it's unfair to say you either have it or you don't. I have known sincere Christians who wrestle with some parts of their church's creed or doctrines. At some stage of life, they're not sure of this doctrine of the faith, and later on they doubt another part. People like this are in good company. Among several other saints of the church whose faith was tested, Mother Teresa of Calcutta is known for miserable stretches of doubt that God was even there. Robert Solomon is a philosophy professor and the author of the book Spirituality for the Skeptic. What makes simple faith simple is the fact that nothing has challenged it, he says. Doubt is a natural part of the journey of trust and faith. To be sure, nobody wants to go through disappointment or betrayal. We don't look forward to it. If we're caring for children and youth or supporting young adults, we want to shield them from setbacks, disappointment, or rejection, or loss. However, disappointments does not build faith in one's ability to work through them. Solomon says, what makes blind faith blind is an unwillingness to acknowledge hard experiences and process them. Having the support and the encouragement to do this is crucial to growing a faith which is both realistic and resilient. Faith as trust is an orientation toward human relationships. We want to trust one another, and we hope to be worthy of other people's trust. Yet there will be times when we let other people down, and when others will let us down. This can happen in families, friendships, and institutions. How we get through it will test our faith. Depending on the degree of hurt or confusion we feel, it can be scary to look at the situation, to speak honestly, listen openly, and then pursue a renewal of trust. Doing this takes courage. It calls for faith in yourself. Whoever we are, we must summon the trust that we have the ability to work through frustration and fear. Sharon Salzberg, the teacher of Buddhism, advises that finding a spiritual community, a refuge, is a significant step on the journey of faith. A trustworthy refuge, she writes, enables us to go against the misleading promises of an unexamined world, to move beyond our conditioned attitudes, and to refrain from superficial answers or heartless ones to our deepest questions. It is crucial to our individual well-being to have loved ones, friends, and communities that we are able to trust. Sometimes when our trust is betrayed, it may be wise to separate ourselves from those who have caused the harm. It may be necessary. Then we can set about the process of healing, which we need in order to grow trusting relationships with others. At the level of the larger community, at the level of the nation, it is crucial to the well-being of everyone to be able to trust our fellow citizens and our leaders. In this country, since before the 2020 presidential election, we have suffered from attempts to break our faith in one another. Because he was hurt and aggrieved by his loss of re-election, the former president has promoted the idea that a national election was rigged and fraudulent. Of course, this is not a reasonable claim. Election officials in cities and counties around the country conduct independent procedures following local laws. There is no control from Washington of their work. Local election officials come from both parties. Their thoroughness and integrity are a point of pride for them. Yet as the former president and his allies have repeated falsehoods over and over, they broke the trust and faith of many voters, especially faith in their local leaders. As a result of those vicious lies, election officials have been intimidated by people in their own communities. Many have been harassed, their families have been threatened. Worn down by this, many retired early or resigned their positions. This is disheartening and scary. I want to assert my faith in the integrity of local officials and volunteers to keep our elections fair. And in spite of the lies, the disinformation, and the violent words that seek to break our democracy, I want to assert my faith that it will survive. To find encouragement, I need only remember the faith embodied by the African American civil rights movement in this country. If anyone would have chosen to lose faith in democracy, it would be those for whom the promise of democracy was denied. In many southern states, African Americans lived under white-ruled tyranny for most of the 20th century. So-called Jim Crow laws required enforcement of racial segregation in schools, public transit, businesses, parks, and other public places. Election laws denied the right of black citizens to vote, which also made it impossible to get elected and improve things. Blacks trying to vote would be confronted with poll taxes, so-called literacy tests, and outright rejection. Voting registration volunteers were attacked, threatened, and murdered. After generations of this repression, it would have been understandable to lose faith, to give up. Yet African Americans kept faith in the possibility of democracy for this country. This faith was most famously demonstrated by the leaders of the civil rights movement and the words of Dr. Martin Luther King. And this faith was embodied by every ordinary person who was willing to staff telephone banks, write letters, donate money, make food, and show up. It took faith to be willing to be trained in nonviolent action, to attend rallies and marches, to participate in strikes and boycotts. Trusting in community, trusting in solidarity, members of the movement kept faith in one another. To be sure, many leaders and volunteers were sustained by specific expressions of religious faith. They trusted in a just God. They found inspiration in the scriptures. And from this, they showed faith in themselves. In spite of setbacks, including violent setbacks, members of the movement remained faithful to a just cause. And by faith and work, they achieved passage of the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. Acting in faith means acting faithfully, not with a guarantee, but with assurance that your faith is valid and it's worth it. For me, this is a compelling example of the meaning of the third of those three Latin words for faith. The word is fidelitas, which means faithfulness. From it, we get the word fidelity. This means keeping true to your commitments, being true and reliable. We can be faithful to a friendship or a family, to an organization to which we belong, or to the nation where we live. And especially, we can be faithful to the values which we cherish as true, important, and inspiring. Dr. Robin Wall Kimmerer is a professor of botany. She writes about the connections between environmental science and the spiritual gifts of her Native American heritage. In spite of all the tragic history she knows, and in spite of all the bad news with which she wrestles, she keeps an open faith. In Kimmerer's book, Braiding Sweetgrass, she puts it this way: I choose joy over despair, not because I have my head in the sand, but because joy is what the earth gives me daily, and I must return this gift. This is her orientation to life. This is how she demonstrates faithfulness. Recently, a few members of this congregation and I watched an online dialogue between the president of our denomination, the UUA, who is Dr. Sophia Betancourt, and Dr. Karen Georgia Thompson, who is the president of the United Church of Christ. These two liberal denominations have the same roots in congregational churches of the 17th and 18th centuries. And both of these ministers are women of color, the first ones elected to lead their faith organizations. They spoke about the role of liberal religious organizations in these troubled times for democracy, for environmental disasters, for poor people, and for those on the margins. The safety and rights of women and LGBT people are in peril. For the radical right wing, weaponized religious language attacks human dignity. It energizes opposition to human rights. And in response to this crisis, this time of crisis, both presiding ministers agreed that our two denominations can counter those attacks with our own messages of a different faith. We need to energize opposition to injustice. Not only our denomination, but each of us, you and me. We can say, you're not talking about my God. My faith envisions a God of love and acceptance. That's what universalism is. In the face of ignorant words or hateful words, we can say, my faith calls me to disagree with you because it says that every child of God belongs in the human family. Everyone deserves to be respected and safe and free because everyone has dignity. That's Unitarianism. Well, people both within these two denominations and between the denominations have different ways of articulating our religious beliefs. What holds us together is our values. And that's what holds us together within our congregation and our movement. Since 1984, the Unitarian Universalist principles have articulated the values to which our congregations are faithful. The first one is the inherent worth and dignity of every person. The dignity and worth of every person is not a fact you can prove. It is a faith statement. It's a value to which we try to be faithful. The seventh principle is the interdependence of all existence. It's symbolized by a web which holds the whole human family and holds all the beings on this earth. To be sure, science teaches us more and more that everything is connected and everything is mutually dependent on everything else. But we go further. We affirm this as a nudge for gratitude, an inspiration to awe, and a reason for stewardship and care. This is part of our faith, isn't it? If we don't claim the word faith for ourselves, then it will continue to be used only by movements that want to exclude people from the idea of love and acceptance. Faith will continue to be used to exclude people from full participation in the human family, used to deny their dignity and their freedom. Faithfulness to our values means claiming them in here and proclaiming those values out beyond these walls. Faith as trust is not something that you merely recite or argue about. It is your approach to life, to the world, and to others. Of course, our faith will be tested, but it is by wrestling with discouragement that we can build authentic faith. Faith as assent or acceptance of specific beliefs must be affirmed in freedom. whether it's a religious ideology or a secular one, if it's coerced, it's not faith. If it's pronounced with righteousness or intolerance, it's not faith. To be authentic, faith must be open to doubt. Sharon Salzberg writes, "No matter what we encounter in life, it is faith that enables us to try again, to trust again, to love again. Even in times of immense suffering, it is faith that enables us to relate to the present moment in such a way that we can go on instead of becoming lost in resignation or despair. Faith enables us to relate to the present moment in such a way that we can go on, go forward." According to Robert Solomon, having faith is not what we do in order to get benefits or rewards. If holding faith is only a means to getting a reward, then it's not authentic. Yet, he says, there is a paradox here. For when we trust, we can get something back. We can find more comfort in the world when we live with trust. We notice more to be grateful for. He says that living with faith as trust can open up all sorts of possibilities that the lack of trust keeps closed. Living with faith, in other words, is living to keep your heart open. As I said earlier, every Sunday that we hold a service, we strive to communicate our Unitarian Universalist faith and celebrate it. We seek the strength to embody our values here and beyond these walls. We strive to be people you can trust and rely on. We build our trust in one another as a community. When it's tough to keep faith, we trust one another to keep faith with us. When it's hard to hold on to our faith, we trust one another to hold it up for us. Hold it for us until we can claim it again and maybe return the favor. So may it always be. So may we continue to inspire faithfulness in one another. So may we live, and so may it be. Blessed be, and amen. I invite you to pause for a few moments of reflection in silence. Blessed be.
Head into the future with faith. We're building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Growing stronger every day. We are building a new way.
As we prepare to extinguish the chalice, please join in speaking our shared intention. We extinguish this flame, but we carry the light, love, and commitment of this gathering into the days to come.
I invite you to reach out to us as we reach out to you, reach out to one another. If you're home, reach out to us, and we reach out to you as well. May you depart in peace and be led forth in joy and trust. For all who see God, may God go with you. For all who embrace life, may life return your affection. And for all who seek a right path, may a way be found and the courage to take it, step by step, one day at a time. Blessed be.